Hello and welcome to Univah. In this video, we're going to demonstrate practical ways to use rReligionVFX. Before that, though, it's important that we go over some basics, such as all the current procedural parameters for editing primitives in Univah. Let's start with a basic Univah cube. When you add a cube to the scene, Univah makes it procedural by exposing tweakable parameters such as subdivisions, spherify and solidify, and remove top. These procedural parameters can be found in the Attribute tab, under Parameters. How to use it: to change a hard edge to a round edge. Increase the bevel radius. The cube gets smaller in size, but the edges aren't round. This is because you have not yet increased the number of subdivisions for this cube. Remember, in order for spherify and bevel to work, you must first increase the number of subdivisions. There you have it. Now we can use spherify to procedurally morph the cube into a sphere and animate that transition in real time. I'm just going to play with these settings a bit so that, in case any of you are completely new to proceduralism, you can fully get the idea of how intuitive this is in Univah Pro. I love working in sketch mode, and it's very useful that Univah has such a playful architectural style as its default rendering shader. Univah Pro is not a 3D modeling software. However, it is designed to allow advanced users to create some very interesting architectural shapes. Let's procedurally morph our cube into a sphere. That's smooth. And hey, if you want to hide these helpful architectural lines, just go to the Object Manager below. Click Disable Outline. Great. Now we have a smooth sphere. Let us reverse the effect and go backwards to form a cube with nice round edges. If we switch to physically based rendering mode, we can really see the effect. All right, we got our hard edge cube back. What do you think? This non-destructive workflow is very important. You'll see why later when we start working in religion. This is all to prepare you for Religion VFX. Univah makes it so easy to manipulate everything all at once. Please bear with me. I will go over this in detail so that by the time our free trial is released, you'll be able to get started right away in Univah. There we have it. We have manipulated our cube in the ways that matter most. Let's move on to other primitive types, such as the sphere. Let's add a new sphere to the scene. The procedural parameters for the sphere are now active because the sphere is selected. Very good, easy enough, right? We do our best to keep Univah lean, fast, and minimalistically powerful. Using the slice and stack sliders, we can decrease the quality to make low-poly spheres. Increasing the slice and stacks will generate higher poly spheres. As you can see, using these parameters, we can create some very interesting shapes. To morph the sphere into an icosphere, just toggle the checkbox on. With icosphere generated, increase or decrease the subdivisions to generate smooth or low poly alternatives. To see inside any object, change the culling type to disable. At present, the culling is set to cull the back faces, meaning it hides the back faces to improve performance. Let us disable this so we can see the inside. Perfect. Now we can see inside the icosphere. The Object Manager is a tab you will use frequently. Let's morph the sphere into a cube. I actually prefer this method of generating round edge cubes. Very good. We have a very interesting low-poly icosphere/cube hybrid. This is a very good way to make versatile cubes. Round edge cubes also look much better using the icosphere to cube morph. To create a smooth cube with rounded edges, let's increase the subdivisions on our icosphere. If we switch to PBR, you can really see the effect in shading. Okay, this looks smooth. We have maxed the icosphere subdivision to 5. That's as high as it goes in Univah. Now we have very good beveled edges. Now that we have seen the procedural parameters for cube and sphere, we have others like torus and cylinder, but we will go over those later. In this video, we will mostly work with cube and sphere in rReligion. Would you like me to add a texture so you can see? Let's do that quickly. I'll add a 4K PBR texture, a diffuse, and a normal map. Materials tab allows us to edit our textures and UV settings. Diffuse, also known in other softwares as base color, is the map we just uploaded. As you make changes procedurally to the shape of an object, it's probably best to add the textures later when you are finished. Updating the UV settings is intuitive in Univah. Scroll down the Materials tab to the UV section and tweak the settings to your liking. Lighting, shading, texturing, all very intuitive and completely real-time. As you can see, I'm effortlessly uploading 4K PBR maps without ever leaving the viewport or touching a node. Univah does all of this instantly. We have no need for overly complicated node graph setups. Okay, let's set up an FBX tree trunk to use with rReligion. Alright, we will scale up this tree trunk and delete some of the unneeded LODs it comes with. Yes, these LODs, I will keep just the first level of detail and delete the rest. Now let's import some flowers to grow along the tree trunk. The flowers are in, but they are quite small. That's okay though. It will look amazing when we add 50,000 of them on the tree. Here is what we'll do. I don't think we need to distribute all of these. Let's just delete all and keep one. Okay, I have hidden the others and kept this one. We will use this in rReligion to grow some flowers. With the shrub selected, open the rReligion tab and select Object Distribution. Click Pick Mesh and select the tree trunk. If you don't see anything, don't panic. It worked. It's just that the original size of the flowers was very small. It's there, just very small. We can increase the number of flowers. We can change the distribution mode. Let's add the flower diffuse in normal maps. Great. Now this will look much more interesting. We are off to a good start. Let's push this to really create an interesting effect. The slider allows us to max at 1,000 copies. However, we can type custom values that go above 1,000 in the spin box. Now we have 20,000 flowers on this tree. I want the tree fully covered, so I'll increase the count to perhaps 50,000 flowers. This is 40,000 flowers. I'm just adding this character here for perspective. All right. In PBR mode, let's see what we have so far. And because Univah is highly modular and non-destructive, we can edit individual elements without breaking anything else. Hiding the tree does not destroy the religion distribution effect. This is just the beginning of what religion can do. Okay, great. Let's keep going. Imagine being able to work this way, seeing final quality in the viewport without needing to use Redshift, V-Ray, or Arnold. Now you can do it in Univah. This is Univah. Everything. Real time. Let's bring back our tree. The cool thing about religion is that you can stack effects in a completely modular and non-destructive way. So if we decide to attach other kinds of flowers or objects to the tree, it does not destroy the previous effect. This is very useful because with this ability, you can stack an endless number of effectors and modifiers. Let's add a sphere to our religion effect. As you can see, we can have an endless number of effects in the scene. What you can do in religion is based on the power of your PC. Great, just as we connected the flowers and the cube to the tree, we have stacked the sphere onto the religion effect. Here is why we showed you the procedural parameters in the first half of the video. Because now, using those same parameters, we can customize our religion distribution effect. And of course, we can do all of this in real time with any shader style active. These are some of the many incredible advantages of the Univah Film Engine. If you work in Blender, Maya, Houdini, or Cinema 4D, I'm sure the power of what we just showed you isn't lost on you. Let's tweak our directional light. Wow, that looks amazing. Simply put, This workflow, this style, this incredibly intuitive and fast way of working does not exist in any other software. Univah Film Engine is the only DCC that provides this workflow. There simply is no comparison between how Univah works and other softwares. You watched us do this in real time right in front of you. Not a single node graph was used. We didn't have to recompile any shaders or spend an hour setting up a stylized shader. In Univah, we switched from PBR to Paint to Sketch with one click. Other softwares like Blender have geometry nodes, and their workflow is nowhere near this fast or artist-friendly. This workflow is what Blender users wish they had but do not. In Houdini, this workflow does not exist. Doing this exact scene in Houdini would take much longer to set up. Getting this quality would require using offline rendering, and it wouldn't be real-time. Meaning if you change the camera or lighting, then you have to re-render the entire scene. But look at Univah. Workflow is key. And Univah is the fastest new DCC and fastest real-time renderer. You see this? This changes everything. In Autodesk Maya, you cannot do this. Even using Viewport 2.0 or 4.0, you cannot do this in Maya. This is Univah Pro version 1.0.0. This software is in active development and is not yet released to the public. If you are a writer and would like to try Univah Pro before publishing an article about it, please contact us. We will provide you with a private free trial. Now, I know what you are thinking. You've been silently wondering this whole time if we can move this religion effect or if it's stuck there in one place. You want to know if the effect can travel. You want to know if it's dynamic. The answer is yes. The effect is dynamic. When we move the tree trunk, the effect will move with it, depending on what we select. But also, we can also set things up in the back end so that moving the tree does not automatically move the effect. It's a setting the user can toggle. Now when I select the flowers, only the flowers will update and follow the tree. What this means is the other effects can now be separated. Alright, and lastly, the feature that changes the game forever. Univah Pro is the first to offer this. Let's export the most beautiful play blast you have ever seen. Now, Autodesk calls it a play blast. In Univah, we just call it instant video export. Before we export an MP4 of this scene to instantly share with our client, let's resize our viewport. I'm going to bring all the left UI panels to the right side. Perfect. Now we will record this exact resolution you see on the screen. The Univah Instant Video Exporter is very easy to use. Since this is not meant to be the final render, there is no need to worry about encoding and all the settings you typically have to deal with when trying to export an Autodesk Maya Playblast. In Univah, we make it easy. Just choose MP4 or AVI, then select a frame rate and hit record. Then just use the software as usual. I'm going to change the color of the light in real time so it captures this in the video. This way my client can see real-time temperature or tone changes without ever having to re-render. Not only does Univah provide final quality playblast for your clients, but the fact that we can switch rendering styles without having to re-render is literally mind-blowing, and the client gets to see this instantly. Giving your clients the ability to interact with the scene in real time. Again, Univah changes everything. This quality is far beyond an animatic or storyboard. Clients often struggle to visualize the end result, but with Univah, since we can basically see the final production quality instantly or very close to final quality, this really helps your clients see the end result before you commit to rendering out render passes for the final output. Do you see this? This looks like a final render that in Houdini, Blender, or Maya would have taken hours or days using a render farm to render. In Univah, we did this in real time. This is the MP4 video we recorded live with you watching. It captures only the viewport, not any of the UI panels. Now we can share this with our client and get feedback before committing to a final render.